welcoming you.
Yeah, well, wait.
So find a good seat and get settled and get excited. We are extremely happy to have you here. We've been planning this activity for some time and looking at the agenda with all the different subjects that are going to be covered. It's going to be exciting today to see what kind of ideas that you can take home with you or find new ways to look at the business you're doing today to work smarter and not harder. And we're thrilled that so many of you are even on time this morning. That's amazing. And you're awake. I see whites in your eyes. So this is really great. It's a good sign. And when I see Sharon coming in here this morning, what time did you arrive, Sharon? 7:15. When Sharon gets here at 7:15 and she looks away, I know there's something strange in the air. We had agendas for you in your packages that you got yesterday, but just in case you didn't bring your package, we have some extra agendas in the back of the room, so if you want to find out what's happening when today, the extra agendas are in the back. But I have the pleasure of introducing our first speakers to you this morning. Tom and Cookie Elwell from Metairie, Louisiana. And just in case you don't know where Metairie is, that's real close to New Orleans, as in New Orleans. So I've been practicing saying that. Did I do okay? New Orleans. Oh, good, good. And for some time, I had heard great things about these people. I heard whispers here and there in my area where I used to live in Texas of them. And then Lyle got to attend a program that they did for the PP of A. And he told me more good things, saying, you've just got to see this program that they have because it's really exciting. And so I did get to attend their program at another convention. And I agreed that they would have some exciting things to share with you on the way that they photograph children and the philosophy that they try to carry through their business in the way that they take care of their customers. So you'll get to see what I have seen before, and I think you'll agree with me that they have some exciting things to share. They are quite interesting people, and you'll learn a lot about them today. But one of the things that you'll be excited to know, just as I was, is that their association honored them with the National Award from PP of A recently. And when I heard about it, they had no idea that this award was coming, so it was quite a surprise. And they've got their pins on that are so wonderful that say National Award, so I'm sure you'll want to join me in congratulating them. And you'll also notice that Tom is a craftsman photographer. And so he's got his medal on too, and that means that he shared a lot with associations, and I'm sure you're very close to your master's too, right?
We're getting there.
And when you find out about Cookie, and I love Cookie's name, I've never had a friend called Cookie before, although I've known the name around. When I listened to their program, I just loved it because she said, everybody can remember my name, Cookie, the children can. But they can't always remember Tom's name, so they call him Mr. Cookie sometimes. One more fun thing about them, they are grandparents of a grandchild that's right below this, the sepia tone print down here, the little cowboy, is Taylor, their grandson. And they were relating a story to me recently that he's truly getting into this grandfatherhood, Tom is. Because recently when he wanted to watch a football game, Taylor wanted to watch his choo-choo tape. So guess what won out? The choo-choo tape. And Cookie goes, I can't believe you're really getting into this grandfather thing. So join me in welcoming Tom and Cookie.
Luckily my team was way ahead, I could turn the game off.
Good morning. Everybody awake?
We hope so.
Thank you all for getting up this early in the morning or middle of the night, whatever it is, and coming out to see us today. Let me tell you a little bit about us. We've been in business for 22, almost 23 years now. We have an in-home studio. Of course, it's getting to become now an in-studio home. Cookie likes to say we at one time had a 4-bedroom home and a den, and living room, and all that stuff. Now we have 1 bedroom left and a little piece of a den.
Master bedroom, suite apartment.
Yeah, and the rest has become studio now. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. We do pretty much what a lot of you do. We do weddings, we do children, we do nursery schools, we do families and all that. We also do something that's a little different. I don't think anyone else here does, is Mardi Gras photography. Anybody else do Mardi Gras photography? You do. Mardi Gras is a little different. We do the parades and the gala ball and all that kind of stuff. So it's, you want to know about Mardi Gras, ask us later. That's not what we do. First off, Patsy was mentioning about my having my craftsman degree and conventions and that sort of thing. We thoroughly believe you should be a member of organizations. PPFA, your state association, your wonderful organization here. We have learned so much being in organizations. We've found the strength and the camaraderie of everybody being there. And just having other people to relate to in your business has always been a pleasure for us. I have the honor of being a past president of our state association in Louisiana. We're also members of our local guild. We, as Patsy said, we won our National Service Award at our convention this year, and we were totally surprised. And we heard the presenter talking about these people who were going to get this award, and we're thinking, gee, these sound like nice people. I wonder who they are. It turned out to be us. It was great. We're a mom and pop studio. Mom and pop. We also have 1 full-time secretary. We have 3 part-time secretaries who work for us. And as of this past August, our son is now working full-time in the studio with us. He's been doing our video for about 5 years now. And now he's working in the studio doing stills and helping out. And it's just a real pleasure to me to be working next to my son. We want to share with you today some of our ideas about how we photograph children and have fun doing it. We started like 15, 16 years ago. We went to a PPA convention in Dallas, and we heard some information there about photographing nursery schools. We thought it would be a wonderful idea because we hadn't done a lot of children's photography up to that time. And we said, well, this would be a good way to keep our cameras working during the week, other than doing, at the time we were very small, we were only doing weddings on weekends and not a lot during the week. And doing children, we found it would be a good way to increase our customer base and get more families in and weddings and that sort of thing. And when we started doing that, we found out that children are a complete different type of person than big people. I'm sure you know that. Little people have good days, they have bad days, just like we do. And they're totally honest, which means when they come in the studio, if they don't like you, they're going to say, I don't like you. Where a big person might not do that.
They are totally honest. Honest to a fault almost sometimes. How many of you in the room photograph children? Great, most of you. Good, good. They're a challenge, but I think they're an exciting challenge. And one of the things that we've really been excited about in our business is that we can usually photograph a child when we've had parents say, we haven't been able to get a portrait of them anywhere. They get into the studio, they scream bloody murder. And I think even though it's getting to be a bit much at the house, I think that one of the reasons that we're successful is that we have a homey atmosphere. Tom, I enjoyed being at your studio yesterday because I felt right at home. I felt very comfortable. I did want to go home and burn down my house and my studio after, but that's another story. But it was just, you need to make sure that wherever your reception area is, wherever your studio is at your reception area, and especially if you want to do lots of children, is geared to them. There's a special place in the reception room where there's a little table and some toys, and the first kid that comes in the morning puts the blocks in the train on the floor. The second kid comes in and he picks them up off the floor and puts them back on the table, And so just a place that they can call their own. Also, you need to make sure that when you greet them at the door that you tell them hello. That's real important. Who's the child and know their name. That's very important. The way that we started with our nursery schools is that we work mostly on referrals, and that's the way our business has grown. Not just our nurseries, but all of our business has grown through referrals. We have a very small yellow page ad, which just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We actually don't do any type of advertising. We're in one bridal show a year, occasionally two, but most of the time just one. If we have an opportunity to be in one that doesn't cost money, we naturally get into that one. But we've got to show our work at our one of our largest local malls recently. We were invited to show our work, just our children's work, and the response was unbelievable. It really was. And this was just something that they decided to start. We didn't solicit it, but I know in most areas, if you can solicit your malls, that's a great way to get your business going and to get more business. The way that we book, again, as I said, is by referrals. And when mom calls, we ask what type of photograph she wants. Usually she's seen our work somewhere and she knows she wants white. The question we get a lot of times, or you the photographers that use that white background and don't let the children wear shoes? Yes, in our area, we are the children, the photographer that uses a white background and very rarely photographs a child with shoes. And the reason is that a child's foot kind of gives an air of innocence to a portrait. And if you're sitting a small child in a chair, the first thing you're going to see is what? The bottom of the shoes. And nothing pretty about any shoes. I don't care if they're brand new shoes. We ask them what they want. We find out what time is best for their child. That's very, very important. If a child comes in and it's the middle of their nap time, no matter how good you are, you're not going to get cooperation. You really aren't. Or if they're the type of child that's better in the morning than in the afternoon, you're not going to get cooperation in the afternoon. You need to book that child in the morning. So you need to find out what the best time for the child is. As we get busier, this gets more and more difficult. Our studio right now is booked 2.5 months ahead and booked solid. And we just, it's a problem. It's a wonderful problem to have, but it's a scary problem too, because then we have people who have been coming to us. And just last week we had a lady call and say, my son's off from school tomorrow and I'm off from work. You think I could bring him over and get their portrait done?
I just want a couple of pictures.
I just want a couple. It won't take long, And you want to accommodate the people that helped you get where you are. So you kind of have to extend yourself to things like that. We find out the child's name and age, and we always try to allow 1 full hour for that child's photograph. We book every hour. We may or may not need that hour, and I tell this to the mom when she calls. The reason that we allow an hour is because if a child comes in and she's clinging to mom or whoever brings her in, we need time to get to be her friend. And we don't even talk about taking pictures. We tell them not to say you want to get your picture taken. And not to be telling them, all right, you're going to smile, keep smiling. That's the worst thing that you can say to a child, as I'm sure you all are well aware of, to smile. We then go on to discuss the clothes. We allow 1 change of clothes, and we suggest that if possible, they bring the child in the outfit. If it's the type of child that does not like to be changed, then bring them in the outfit. Try to keep something that doesn't wrinkle, as we saw in the retouch program yesterday. But as you well know too, if you bring them in the starch dress, you put it on right there, that size child can sit down and get wrinkles immediately. So it's wonderful to have this new digital retouching that can iron for you. That's the easiest ironing I've ever done. How about you, ladies? It's the easiest ironing in the world. So we get their phone number, get their information. We call them the day before to confirm. I try to make all of the phone calls personally because I feel like that's the reason our business has grown, because we started off as a mom and pop studio. And as we're bringing our son into the business, he's really a clone of Tom, just a younger version. And he is able to greet the people. We're making sure that he's there for every appointment, if nothing else but to come in and introduce him, so that people, when it comes time for us not to be there, that they'll just automatically look to him like it's the same studio, and that's real important. Then we believe that the personal touch is very, very, very important. People like to hear about what's going on with you. They like when you ask them about them. Try to make little notes when somebody called to change an appointment and maybe they've had a death in the family, stick a sympathy card in the mail, or maybe they're sick. Try to make a little note that you ask, now how is that problem when they come in? Because people want to be thought about. Does it make you feel important when somebody remembers something about you? Patsy made us feel so special just now, relating that story about our wonderful grandson. Told her that, never dreaming she was going to relate it to you, but it just made us feel really special that she thought that was important enough because he's so important to us. So always remember, you want to make sure you add that personal touch. Okay, Tom?
And looking at the digital retouching yesterday, when I saw what they were doing, going with the photographs that were underexposed, I believe, we're all going to throw our light meters away. We don't need them anymore. We can do it. On the appointment day, we dress very casually, kind of like you see us today. I don't like to wear a tie to begin with, so I only wear a tie, a coat and tie, and a suit on wedding days. We want our children not to be intimidated, because I feel like if you're wearing a tie and you look all dressed up, the child is going to be kind of scared of you when he sees you. So we dress comfortably. Usually I'll wear like a Mickey Mouse sort of shirt with Mickey up here, the short sleeve collar shirts. We try not to wear any doctor colors like Dr. Green shirts like a doctor would wear, or white like that, because we don't want to intimidate the child. And as Cookie said, we ask the parents not to bring the child into the studio the same day that they've had a doctor's appointment, because they kind of associate the two. We use the child's name, as Cookie said. When we look, before the sitting comes in, we look on our little sheet. We have a shooting schedule, which we do every morning, that lists all of our sessions during the day, and we put the child's name on there so that when the parent comes to the door, we can use the child's name. We may ignore the parents almost completely. Get down on the floor and say, "Hello, little Freddie, how you doing?" And so that they get to be knowing that we're there to have fun with them and to play games, not so much just to take photographs. When we go in the camera room, we get down on the floor again and visit with them before turning on any kind of lights at all. We leave the lights on in the studio. I don't want to say the lights, I'm talking about the ceiling lights and that sort of thing. We don't turn the lights off. We've had several moms come to us and tell us that they've been to studios that are very dark and scary, so we leave the ceiling lights on in the studio. After we get the child where he's getting receptive to us and getting nice and warmed up, then we'll kind of casually turn on the lights, the strobe, so that we're ready to go. Cookie and I usually do our sittings together. That way, a lot of times there'll be a child who may like her and not me, which makes me upset, of course, but sometimes it works the other way around. They like me and not her. And occasionally, I've had to leave the room, set the camera up, because Cookie's not a photographer, I am, but I'll set the camera up and I'll leave the room completely. Sometimes it works the other way around. We want to get to be the child's friend. We play music in the studio. We have several Disney tapes that we play. We have some new ones now that are Barney music, which is always fun. You know about Barney yet?
One of the things that, this is everybody's favorite guy, right? What's amazing about this little guy, though, you know, I have to tell you.
You might hate him.
And the older children, okay, if they don't like, you know, if they're too old, or we're doing an older child, and they go, "Oh, I don't like Barney," especially at our schools. Tom and I'll just go, "We knew you wouldn't like him, you know, so we're just going to throw him over here, you know, toss him out the way, whatever it takes." But when you have a child that knows who this is and they're not smiling, all you have to do is say, "Tell me what his name is."
And it's Barney.
And it's an immediate smile, and you
Catch the
can get
name.
that shot right away, you know, so it works. So he's not going to stay up there, I don't think. He's not cooperative. He's not cooperative. There was a little girl that came into our studio. Well, no, we photographed her in a nursery school at first, yeah. Her name was Ellie. And Ellie was, we got her in the room, we tried to photograph her, and it just wasn't going to work, okay? So we said, well, let's let Ellie watch for a little while. And I kept talking to her, and I said, you know, we'll put bubbles for you, have candy, oh, we're going to have such a good time, you know. And in between children, I'd go over and chat with her and get on the floor with her, just really try. Nothing was going to budge this child. So we finally got her back over by the camera, and this is how she was.
They were glued up there.
Yeah, I mean, the director of the school finally said, she did this, and she said, just take her picture, we have to get on. We're just not going to bother with her anymore, she's a stubborn child. We took her picture, it went home with Mom, because we were doing that school on speculation at the time. It went home, Mom absolutely loved it. She said it was the epitome of her personality. And she said, I just love it. If you could get her to do that at school, we want to bring her in the studio, so they're regular clients now. You know, go figure, right? You just never know what's gonna ring somebody's bell. But this mother knew that this was her child. So when the children come in, we want them to know that this is a fun place. We always tell the parents, try not to say, a lot of parents are prone to say, you know, no, don't do that, don't touch that, no, don't do that, don't do that. We try to tell them not to say no quite so much. Then, of course, we have on the other hand the Nebo parents that are, you never say the word no, you know. And those sometimes I think are worse than ever. But we try to tell them, we want them to feel like they've been at Granny and Grandpa's house. And we want to feel like, hey, it's a fun place. When they come into our studio, they come into our front room, or to our foyer rather. When they walk to the left, they walk into the reception room. When they walk to the right, they walk through our den, which is where part of our house that we still live in, and they go through that into the camera room. As they go through, I have some cutesy little things like a little teddy bear, and they'll stop and the moms will go, no, I said, that's okay, they can play with that. You want to bring it with you? Bring it with you. Because we want them to feel relaxed. It's very, very important. When we bring them back into the back room, the mom immediately says, our camera room, not unlike Tom McCarthy's, is a double garage converted into a camera room. And our props hang from the ceiling. And that's about the only place we have to hang things. We're running out of ceiling space. You just put a hook up and hang it up there, and it works wonderfully. But when you have, you have that situation, you're going to have props out and things out, and they immediately find something they like and take to it, and that's great. We have a rocking train that we just purchased at Nationals this year, and the kids love to get on that. And if it takes getting one shot of them on that to make them happy, and then saying, okay, let's do something different, and you bring the train over and do something different, that's the most important thing. We turn on the strobes. As Tom said, we keep everything on. While we're talking to them, he flips on the lights. We keep the lights on. If you have a child who's had surgery, you never, ever, ever want to bring them in a dark room with studio lights. It's just like an operating room. And you want to remember that. And that's why a lot of children are afraid of getting their portrait made, because they've had some type of surgery, and you have to remember that.
You'll notice that also, especially in doing nursery schools, which we'll get to in a little bit. When we're setting the lights up at the nursery school, I use 2 umbrellas, of course, but we turn off the modeling lights because we just, after all these years, we recently came to that conclusion. A lot of children have had surgery and have seen this big light above their head, and it scares them. So we turn the modeling lights off completely and just use the strobes. It took us a while to learn that. Getting back to the props, we use as many props as we think are necessary in our photographs. We don't like to over-prop pictures, unless the parents come in. Of course, sometimes they'll bring their own things, as you know. They'll bring in chairs and whatever the stuffed animals, whatever they have at home. Sometimes they'll bring something that's very special, like grandma has a chair, or that grandma bought something for the child. And we'll say, that's fine, we can do that, but we try to use just a minimum number of props in our photographs, because we want the child's personality and face to show through the photograph, which is the most important part. We have bought a lot of our props, of course, at craft shows. We go to craft shows, antique malls, and we just heard about one next door here, Patsy was telling us, so I'm afraid we might go there. Also, we have some good friends, Randy and Patty Dunham, that are with American Photo Research. They're in Texas, where you are. We bought a lot of things from them. Wonderful people, and they're at our, they're at usually the Nationals convention and a lot of state state conventions. And they have booths usually set up there, so if you ever see them, they have some wonderful props that you can buy. We found that chairs are usually good for children that are jumpers, the 15 months to 18 months in that area, because usually they're not going to stay in one position. So if you have a chair or something that you can put them on, even if it's only for a 60th of a second, just give you a little chance to get a photograph of it. Because we always like to say that age group from about 14 months to 20 months, they develop, somehow or another when they get to be that age, they develop springs in their behind. So that, you know how that goes. Sit them down and half a second later they're back up again. We do a lot of window light photographs in our studios, so mother and child, that's getting to be really popular. The window light is nice and soft. We have a special area set up in our studio to do that. And we also want to do the clothing. We talk to the parents. When Cookie is talking to them when they do their initial appointment, we talk to them about their clothing. Because as you know, if you don't tell the parents what kind of clothing to bring in, they're going to bring in just about anything. They'll a lot of times bring in clothing. Again, the grandmother has given the child, it might be really ugly. But don't tell them, we don't want to take that picture. Not you. Don't ever say, no, we can't use that outfit. Take a photograph in the outfit that they brought in, and then suggest something else. We're starting a collection of clothing ourselves that we can suggest that children might be able to wear. A lot of white. We're collecting a lot of white clothing, some nice soft pastels that we can suggest as an alternative to the parents for things they may have brought in.
Yeah, that is. this was this mom's dresses for the children. This was the dress that I once upon a time used to be able to wear. And so she's a lot smaller than I ever was, so we just clamp it in the back. And we use this a lot of times. Plus I have we did this on the beach, so we didn't want a gown. Plus I have a gown that I have, and I have one mom that has the most wonderful clothing, that she is bringing in clothing she's using it, and then I have friends that come in and say, oh, well, this is, Cindy Rice's clothes. So they're getting ready to move back to Salt Lake City, so we're making a deal. I'm going to trade her photographs for clothes. And so, I have one, in one of the books that's floating around, there's a little girl with a tea party standing, real full blonde hair. She's standing pouring the tea. That's one of our little dresses. And you try to get sizes that are going to work for little kids. It'll be longer on a little child and a little bit shorter on a bigger child. It's something real simple and something that can be clamped in the back. That works real well.
And a good way to get a collection of clothing is to swap the parents. If they come in with something that's really cute that they bought somewhere, offer that's only the child's only be able to wear it a short time. Offer to swap photographs for the clothing. They usually would rather do that than just put it in the closet somewhere or just put it away. We do a lot of high key, as you can see by our samples. We like the high key because it makes the personality of the child show. You can see their face before you see anything else. We are known in our area as the people that do the white background photographs. We do lower key photographs a lot of time for older children, like 3 years, 4 years, and on up. We try not to ever say smile. You probably found that parents want to always say smile, and you know what you get when you say smile? You get that sort of thing. We would rather get a reaction from the child by doing silly things like, hey, it's mine, I want to do it. Like taking the hammer. She always likes to do that. And I go home, I am home with a headache at the end of the day.
They have a hammer like this they used to have. I don't even know where I got it, but it had a big clown on the end of it. It was soft on this side. And I unconsciously was, trying to make this child smile, and I promise I did not do it on purpose. And I went, Bob, I almost knocked Tom out. I hit him with the hard plastic clown. Be real careful, okay? He's always nice to me on picture day, too, because he knows I get to do this. And this also has, if that doesn't work, it's got a whistle to get their attention.
But being a professional, when she hit me with the plastic again, I just kept on going, did the photographs, and argued about it later. And of course, frogs are always good. You can put them on top of your head and that sort of thing. They make noise.
This has been a great hit with the kids. It really has. This is another thing that came from Randy and Patty. And one of the person that I want to tell y'all that we get props from is Wicker by Design, because they have some really neat things too, and I'm sure you all have lots of things from them. But this has been a big hit with the kids. It really has.
When we're doing choo-choo, by the way, if anybody has any questions anytime, just raise a hand and stop and we'll pretend like we can answer them or something.
When we don't answer, we'll make something up, not to worry.
When we're photographing two children together, we like to show relationship between the two children, not just both of them sitting there looking at the camera. They want to do one or two like that for, again, grandmas. Because usually older folks like just a picture smiling at the camera. But the relationship between the two children, like the tea party over there, or that sort of thing there. Especially outdoors. We do a lot of outdoor portraits, and doing the ones outdoors, we have a couple of baby carriages. Let me see which one you have. Yeah. We have, let me see that one a second.
That's in your backyard, right?
This is our backyard.
Oh, sure it is.
Our backyard is 5 feet wide. We live in the city, so we don't have a
We take
backyard.
you to the park to do programs.
This is City Park in New Orleans. This was a print that we're very excited about because I won a Kodak Albert Award for this one 3 years ago. I did it. We came up with a wonderful title for it and all that. But a friend of ours looked at it and he said, I have a better title, because he looked at it and there's two little girls here, and we have 3 hats sitting over here. And they're looking into the water, and he wanted to title it, Where's My Other Sister? We didn't think that was a great idea. But again, there's relationship there. They're together, they're doing something, they're looking at the ducks in the water. We have them reading a book to each other and that sort of thing. We usually do about, on a regular session in the studio, about 18 to 20 photographs. We have an extended session. Cookie was saying before that we allow 1 clothing change. We do an extended session if they want to bring 3 or 4 different outfits. And of course, it's a more expensive session, and we'll do a lot more exposures on those. We give the children a surprise. Every child, no matter if they've been crawling up the walls or trying to tear down the camera, we always give them a surprise. We use bribery, sure, why not? We give them a surprise. One of the best things are Smarties.
Smarties,
Everybody use
okay.
these? You know what those are? The little sweet tart candies?
Okay, I'm going to give you a sample of Mardi Gras now. All right, you ready? Catch.
Hey, throw me something. That's what you get at Mardi
You
Gras.
guys are good.
You guys are too good. Wait a minute. I think the rants confuse you guys.
Definitely couldn't use me. I can't go very far. Any of you licenses, we have a bunch of them up here. You can help yourselves afterwards.
And of course, balloons, and we buy the little Hot Wheels cars. You go to usually flea markets and craft shows, you can buy big boxes of Hot Wheel cars. Those are always good for the older little boys. And one of the best things we've ever found, we discovered this at National. Okay, then.
One of the things that I love about these is that they're low in sugar. I just started working with Tom 10 years ago. And when I started working with him, I loved M&Ms, so I bought M&Ms so I could eat them, right? And I gave the kids M&Ms, but you give them M&Ms, they get chocolate, they do melt. And then you get chocolate, and they're bouncing off the walls because they're sugar. Lisa Murphy out of Texas came to New Orleans and did a program at City Park for us. And she introduced me to these, and they were wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Because they're low in sugar, and you can give them just one to stick in their mouth, and that kind of keeps them happy. Or if they absolutely have to have the whole roll, you can show them how they have to hide the roll. So they work, they really do. We buy them at Kmart. We really should buy stock in the company because we buy so many. Okay.
We were in Chicago a couple of years ago. We were giving our children's program, and one of the guys at the class said he had something that nobody else had that he knew of, and he showed it to us, and we've been using them ever since. As a matter of fact, we ordered them from him. We're going to give you a supplier's list, by the way, it has all the information in. These little oinkers, he called them. Ever seen these before? Well, you know the old thing about putting your finger in the little puzzle, the Chinese puzzle, whatever you call it. But what they are good for, we showed the children, you take them like this, and they fly up in the air. Children love them. They come in all different colors, and they're coming in now. They'll say, can I have a pink one, or can I have a green one?
We'll give you some of those too. Oh, I'm not going to even try to throw those.
Just put the whole bag down.
I'll just put the
No,
bag
they're
up here and y'all
When we
can
get
each
done,
take
when
one,
I let you have them
okay?
now, you're playing with them. They're great for kids that are like 2, I guess, and on up, 2 and a half and up. Keeps their attention, gives them something to play with while you're taking care of all the other stuff. When we're done with, the children now that have been to us at least once are now coming in, we're done. The first thing they say is, where's my surprise? So you got to have a lot of different things to give them, because we've had children who try and give them maybe Smarties or something. They say, well, I got that last time. What's your new surprise? So, okay, we got to get a new surprise.
That same little girl, Ellie, that was, did this, she came in and I said, we were photographing her and her sister. I said, now Ellie, we're going to have a surprise when we're done. And she said, when I handed her candy, she went, well, Cookie, that's not a surprise. I get that every time. So I went, got to get some new surprises. So we try to keep it varied, And I just pick up things at, I look at sales. Walgreens sometimes has coloring books on sale, like 5 for $1. And you don't have to give them colors to go with the coloring book. Actually, it's best if you don't. It's in there. Colors. And I know we have lots of wholesale people who can get these things from and probably get just as good a deal, if not better. But it's just simpler when I'm in the store to say, oh, these will be good, we'll pick these up. Christmas time, I get the little Christmas coloring books. And kids just like to go home with something in their hand. That way they look forward to coming back because they know they're going home with something. And kids are just like we are. We like surprises. We got here yesterday. We got handed this wonderful bag from Patsy that she left at the desk for us that had fruit in it and candy and just, it was wonderful with a beautiful little note.
Oh,
That's there's a lot of it going, but anyway.
The little pumpkin was delicious.
The pumpkin you weren't supposed to eat. But it was just, it was just so special. And so we like to be made to feel special. Little children are just people, big people in little bodies, so we need to make sure they feel special also.
When we're done with the session, we have Mom fill out the customer card, of course, and our name, address, and phone number. We tell them when the previews are going to be ready. We tell them about our policy of checking the previews out of the studio. And we do get a deposit for previews going home. I know there are a lot of pros and cons on paper previews. The thing we like about the paper previews is Mom takes them home, she takes them to work with her, she shows everybody, and people say, ooh, where did you get that done? And we get almost 100% of our clients are referrals, as we said. And when they bring them out and they're asking where they're getting done, of course, we encourage them to tell them where they're having their photographs done. And they're picking up the phone and calling us. So that's a good source of new clients for us. We also ask them when they come in to pick up the previews, please bring the child with them when they come back in, because every time they bring that child back into your studio, they're getting more familiar with you, they're getting more familiar with your location, so that each successive time, they're going to be even more comfortable coming in. A couple of quick technical things. Shoot with an RB67. I love using the 180 lens on the RB because it keeps you away from the child with your camera. Cookie can get up close and do whatever kind of silliness she's going to do, crawling on the floor and tickling and all that. And using the 180, it has a really narrow field so that she can get out of the way real quickly, and I'm not in front of the child intimidating him or her with the big camera. We use radio slaves on our cameras so that we don't have wires all over the place. The camera stand, I use a roll-around camera stand. If you're using a tripod, you need something to get down on the floor real low. I modified the one I have so that I added about this much to the length so that I can get down about this far from the floor with it. Very important. We don't put children up on any kind of table. I have nightmares of seeing a child falling off the table onto the floor. I would not want that to happen. So that we have the child on the floor.
I just want to add something about the previews. One of the most frustrating things, as Tom was saying yesterday, Tom McCarthy, is that, you know, they take the previews home, and we all have brides that haven't ever ordered they paid us all this money, still haven't ordered their prints. And I just don't understand the wisdom of that, but they do. But one of the problems we had was getting the previews back. And I was calling people and reminding them, well, I just don't have time to do that all the time. So we decided instead of saying you need to get these back or you will be billed, we decided we like incentives. So we started an incentive program. We started this like 6 weeks ago, and it has worked unbelievably well. We haven't had anybody not bring their previews back in 2 weeks. We give them a little card that says, this is your date to return your previews. If returned on or before this day, you will receive 2 complimentary previews, your choice. You've already got your prints made. You're going to stick them in a file if they don't buy them, right? So it's really not costing you a lot of money to do that. And they think it's absolutely wonderful. And they're bringing them back so that, and the orders have been every bit as large, matter of fact larger, because it's fresh in their mind. When they take a 6-month-old portrait home and they look at it for 3 months and they come back at 9 months, well, the child's changed. They don't, oh, we'll buy a couple of these. So it's real important. And they, we get a deposit on them, and the deposit is deducted from their order. But this has worked so well for us that I wanted to share it with you. If you're having a problem, if you're still doing paper proofs and you're having a problem getting it back in, try that idea because it definitely works.
A couple of quick technical things. I use PRN Pro 100 Kodak film in the studio. It's wonderful stuff. I used VPS for many, many years. When the Pro 100 came out, we tried it. We liked it. I think it has a lot more color, saturation, and snap to it. If you haven't tried it, give it a test and see if you like it. We were talking yesterday at Tom's studio about the white floors and white background. We used a white sheet of Formica on the floor, 4x8 sheet of Formica, white paper coming down and going underneath the Formica. It's just great stuff. You don't get a line in the back of it to do it properly. If your lights are washing out the back, you will not get a line where the Formica is. It keeps your paper clean. It keeps the paper clean, so you can use one roll of seamless paper for whatever, 6 or 8 months or whatever like that. About twice a year you have to change the sheet of Formica because it will eventually crack. People standing on it, it'll get unusable. But after you do a sitting, you can just put in a little Windex, wipe it off, and it's ready to go. Any questions? Oh, yes.
Yeah. On that Formica, now,
Yes.
you leave that down when you're doing other sittings. You cover that with something?
No, if I do the not high key, if I'm doing low key, I roll the paper up and pick up the Formica. Because if you put like a muslin background on top of it, it's slippery. The muslin on top of the Formica will be very slippery and people will move around. So I do pick up the Formica for low key sessions.
Is that a 4x8 sheet of Formica?
4x8 sheet. No, 4x8 sheet sitting right on the floor.
So, okay, cool.
Now, I'm not putting it on carpet. If you had it on soft carpet, yeah, I think a lady's high heels or something like that would go with it. But very, very rarely are we having anybody with high heels. Most of our little children don't wear high heels. Tom?
I did the same thing for a number of years with papering, but instead of Formica, I bought 4x8 foot sheets of Mason masonite, and your part get white,
Mhm.
it's just a hard white surface.
And it worked better than the Formica?
I never used Formica, but it's cheap.
Oh, okay.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, might give that a try, thanks.
Formica.
Yeah.
It's about $40.
And this is the back, you buy it like at the hardware store for about 10 or 15.
Really?
It's a whole lot.
Cheaper we like.
I think one of the Formica, though, you can get it in longer sections, I think it comes in whole.
I don't know, I just buy it
No,
at
we
Home
just
Depot,
buy-
4x8 sheet. It's big enough, it's
If you
only.
go to, like, a Cabinet Place, I think that comes in 10 or 12, but.
Oh, okay. It's same width, 4 feet.
I think you can get it in wider. You get it 5 by 20, but you can get it 6. We do the same thing though with it, like Tom was doing, because I was just trying to find it, but I got that stuff, and we used 2 sheets and overlapping, so we had like an 8 by 8 area. Well, but mostly for our, like for adults.
Yeah. That's good. Anything else with that? Okay, let us tell you about our cradle floodplain. Many years ago, I'm sure a lot of you guys are using, guys and ladies, excuse me, are using a cradle club of some sort of a packed plan like this. We started doing this a long time ago. Again, we went to a convention somewhere and we learned how to do this. There are a lot of variations on it. Some people do 3, some people do 4 different sessions. We like doing the 4 sessions. And what we're doing, we have our parents come in with the children at 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. We offer a half-price session. We take it's a shorter session. It's usually a half-hour session. We take less exposures. We do about 8 to 10 exposures on this. And at the end of the year, along the way, each of the sessions, we have the parent pick out one of their favorite previews. We keep it. At the end of the year, we will give them the panel, either pink or blue, depending on the child, with each of the 4 photographs mounted in it at the end. Of course, along the way, we encourage parents to buy anything they might like. We suggest clothing to be similar throughout. We try, that's because another reason for the clothing consultation, in that, like this child here has white throughout. If you had like a white outfit here and a dark blue here and a red here, it just would not look as nice. We offer the frames for sale, and what we're charging for the frames will cover our expenses for everything. So you do not have to worry about having that cost you any extra money.
The way that we started this years and years and years ago was that we offered this free. And if any of you have been to any of the programs, I don't know where you guys are.
Bob and Sherry
Bob and
sang
Sherry sang.
many years ago, like 15
That
years ago.
when they first started offering it, when Tom started this business, he had a partner who's no longer in photography. But they started offering this panel free to get business, to get people in. And so they would get names out of our local newspaper, runs a list of names, birth announcements with names, so they'd look them up in the phone book and hopefully it was the right one. And they'd just send out this little letter that offered this free. Now we've gone to offering it.
Let me tell you, what we were doing to begin with, we were sending out a postcard with a postage paid card to send it back to us. Would you like to be interested in this? Photographs are free, explain the sessions to them, and they would just drop the card in the mail and send it back to us.
And they got a good many to come in. But this has just been astronomical how it's caught on. It truly has. We then went to doing them when, by the time that Tom brought the studio back home, we were doing them half price. We're trying to try and steer them all now to when, if we're going to continue with half price, the time to do them. Not that we think that we shouldn't be doing them. I mean, Kevin, to do them. That's right, you are, right? Thank you. Every now and then he's got to remind you.
Mr. Cookie.
Mr. Cookie. Yes, Lon.
Tell us your prices a little bit. You can talk about price here.
Oh, okay. We're so accustomed to not being able to say prices, okay?
What is your session fee? What do you sell the frame for?
Okay. Our session fee on this is $12.50. Our session fee is $25. Now, that may seem very low to some of you, but our theory is if they come in and they like your work, they're going to buy. Okay? If you do a good job, they're going to buy. We are going up after the first of the year because we can't accommodate people. We just don't have places to put them. And I think that if we raise the session fee, it may help, it may not. When we tell you about our seasonal promotionals, we've raised that and raised it and raised it, and it just keeps growing. So, you don't know. But we're gonna go up probably to $30. But right now it's $12.50, and our average sale on this, on each session is like $100 to $125. Sometimes, you know, a parent will come in, the first couple, they'll order $200 and $300 and $400. And that's great, you know, but the average runs $100 to $125. The frame itself the frame and the glass sells for $39.95. Okay, our cost on it, I'm terrible,
It's
we only cost.
like $12.
Yeah. So, and, you know, so it pays for all of our freebies, it pays for the mat, you know, if they buy the frame. As long as we're showing them a frame, you know, I have to tell you all, we're like, even though we've been in business for almost 23 years, we're like, how did we think of doing that, you know? We did this for years without offering the people a frame. Hello. We're letting them take it down the street to have a frame. And one of the things was we just didn't have space. But now that we used to have everything in that one reception room, camera room, reception room, everything in a combination living room, dining room. Can you imagine that? But anyway, when we moved the studio out to the what was formerly our playroom in the double garage, we went to, one of the things I wanted to do was sell more frames. So this was, you know, I got the idea, let's sell the frames. We get them from,
Place in Kansas, but, well, the place to buy them from is Mid-America Chops. Mike Adams is our representative.
Yeah.
We have all the information on here,
And
but
so
we can get them from a lot of different places.
we sell this, we probably could sell the frame for more, but here again, we want them to buy it. We want them to buy it. And if I felt like that they were just coming because it was cheap, then they'd finish this and they'd never come back again. But they keep coming and coming and coming. And it's just by the grace of God that this is happening. We really have to tell you that, you know, it's just, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. Yes,
Each session is $12.50 then?
yeah, $12.50 each time.
You can price it, you know, whatever you're comfortable with. It's going to be said, we used to do them for free, you know, just to get the clients in the door. And the main thing is that's what it's for, is to get new clients coming in, because most of our people that have done this are now, I mean, the child might be now 3 or 4 years old, and they're still bringing them in. We've gotten weddings from these. They've brought children in, and they like our work, and the sister getting married and that sort of thing. So we've gotten weddings from our children's panels.
And any of our children's work, as a matter of fact, we've gotten weddings from. But the idea is to keep it at an affordable rate, okay, so that they do want to come back, so that they do want to come back to your studio again. And, go ahead, sorry.
We standardize our posing on 4 sessions also, so that when we know when a 9-month is coming in for a cradle club, we have a set of poses that we do for that session, so that you don't have to try and do something so that everybody's different, that you're not trying to make something different. So that they know they're getting a half-price session, so that they're limited as to what our poses are going to be in our props. When they're paying for a full-price session, then we can start taking things off the ceiling, as we said, with different props, different poses.
And lots of times at the 6-month and the 1 year, they do pay for a full price session. And that way we do the cradle club, and then but we still only do a roll of 20. Okay, so we really aren't adding anything to it. They're paying for a full session, they're getting a full session. But they can we do the clothes with the cradle club props, and then we'll do the little bears on the bowl and pitcher. There's a picture of the bowl and pitcher going around the room, and then the bears are up here. So we do the little nude shots at 6 months, and they'll pay for a full session for that. Then the majority of them come back and do a full session for a year, and that's the one where we suggest that the parents bring in a birthday cake, and we do all the shots, and then we just, the last 6 or 7 shots, we leave to photograph them doing whatever with the birthday cake. Now, when we first started doing the birthday cake idea, another idea we got from somebody else, you know, I'd love to tell you all these are our original ideas, but you well know I'd be lying. And so that's the thing about sharing at associations and things, is that you learn from each other. But when we first got the idea, I thought, I'll just go buy birthday cakes, and I'll have them, you know. And so we have a session, we'll supply the birthday cake. We just wanted to get our children's business going. So we'll supply the birthday cake. Well, if little Johnny got sick, guess who was eating birthday cakes, you know? I don't need to have birthday cakes around, I'm a sweetaholic. So we then went to telling them that they could bring their own little cake. And one of our clients came in with the neatest little cake and said, Del Champs, which is in our area, gives you a cake. And some of your local stores here may do that. If you bring in the child's birth certificate in the week that their birthday is, they will give you a little cake free. So, you know, we learn from our clients a lot of times. We truly do.
It's another good thing about the Formica is after the birthday cake is all over, it cleans up real nicely.
Do you get families wanting to appear on the portraits with the kids?
No, We have a brochure that we've made up that specifically says what the Cradle Club is all about. And that's good too, have something in writing so that they don't try to do that. So, well, I like to bring in Daddy in the picture too, you know.
And if they want to do that, then it's a full session.
Yeah, now we can do that at the same time if they like. We'll do our Cradle Club session, which is the half-price session, and then we'll do a full-price session for an additional full-price session at the same time.
Okay, so that's full price.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, because it wouldn't be considered Cradle Club.
Well, I
It just-
understand, I
yeah.
understand.
But they don't always understand,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, I
But you see, the more special you make this, that, well, I'm really sorry. Another thing is, when parents would call and want to get in on this in the beginning, we'd let them start at 4 months, because again, we wanted our business, our children's business to grow. Now, if they're over 3 months, I'm sorry, we can't start them on this plan. It was a 3-month program, 3, 6, 9, and 12. And so they want to make an appointment for their 6 months and spending just as much money. So, you know, it's just, people want what they can't have, and I think that's been one of the exciting things. How many of you feel like if you were to call, say, Sears and Roebuck today, and tell them that you want to do your whole house, you want to do all the drapes in your home, and could they possibly send someone out, and they say, oh, we have someone right here, well, they'll be over in an hour. Wouldn't you be a little bit leery that this person didn't have any business and was sending you the new kid on the block? Well, people feel that way about your photography once you get your business going. They want to come to you because everybody else is, and they want to know what you're doing. And so it's not so bad. That's a hard thing for me to accept sometimes because I just want to be able to accommodate everybody, but it's not so bad when you can't accommodate them. So
People like to do
try.
business with successful
busy
people.
people.
So even if you got a day you have nothing to do and someone calls you and wants to come in that day, don't just say, oh yeah, come in anytime. You know, say, well, let me check and see if we're available, and you know, take your time, look through the book. You know, you make it look like you're busy even if you aren't. Yes,
Do you use packages or do you sell different portraits of?
yes. We do both. We offer packages on our portraits. We also offer individual prints. Our package prices are set up so they save, depending on the size of the package, anywhere from 5% to about 15%, depending on the size of the package.
You would have brought the price list, but I didn't even realize that, guys, or I'd have brought your list. Our package, our smallest package, when somebody calls, they ask, you know, how much did it cost for the photograph? 25. To have the photograph done, a minimum price is 25. If you add children, you know, and you add different changes, it goes to 35. Sometimes it's 45, sometimes it's 55. And so our minimum price is 25, and our packages start at 60. Well, that's real affordable for most anybody. I can't tell you the last time we got a $60 package without add-ons, you know. And usually, even though we space these an hour apart, we're usually done in 15 minutes. And so it's well worth it. It's well worth the time and the effort, and it's getting someone in that's going to come to you again and again and again. Yeah.
Do you post in your packages, or do you make them buy one post?
We mix
Mix
them.
it. I don't care, any way they want to do it.
If they want an 8 by, the first package is an 8 by 10, 2 5x7, and 8 walls. If they want one of their posters to be an 8 by 10, that's okay. If they want their 2 5x7s to be something different, that's okay. If they want their 8 walls to be something different, that's okay. However, I would give them a special price if we were using, you know, a lab like you guys are lucky enough to use it. You get everything like that. I'd order it that way and, you know, offer them the specials that you guys have at your advantage to offer. And so I would give them the opportunity to do that. But because we don't do that, we do the individuals, that's the way that we work it, is the different
A lot of
poses.
photographers do that. They'll have one price for it if you have all the same pose, or an additional charge if you mix the poses, which is fine if that works.
Okay, one of the things that we have, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, can I just clarify, so your first package is the 8 by 10, 2 5x7, 8 walls, for $60?
Yeah, and I know that's probably cheap by your standards here.
Now, I'm coming here.
Yeah, you're in our studio.
So everybody's prices are depending on where you live. You know, we're very competitive in New
We
Orleans.
have probably within a 1 mile radius of us, we have what?
About 11
11
studios.
studios.
Within a mile.
So we have a lot of competition. We have a lot of competition. So, you know.
That's not including Sears and Penny's and those kind of.
No,
things.
that's just including
Studios.
regular portrait studios, okay? And some very good competition, I might add.
Masters.
So, any more questions on the baby panel? If you want to get your children's business going, this is the way to go. Boy, it will make your children's business fly, it really will. The original idea came from Bob Sturcing and the Bloodworth. If any of you have had a chance to study with George and Betty Bloodworth, you've been a blessed soul, in my
We'll
opinion.
talk more about them in a minute. You can get, most newspapers do have birth announcements, and they'll have the names, and if you live in a fairly small town or medium-sized city, you can look it up in the phone book, get their address. I've known photographers who have gone in with the hospitals. Sometimes they'll give you the names. I don't know how your hospitals work where you live, but sometimes they will give you the names of the newborns and that sort of thing. Sometimes they won't. That works also. And you can do a card mail out. You have each one. You can mail cards to people that have your babies. Any other questions on that? Okay. Something we've been doing lately, which has been really, really popular, is our selective coloring black and whites. We've got one, where is it? There you go.
It's right up here.
Right, there's one.
That's one of them. There's another one.
We're doing all of our photographs in color. We have a lot of parents say, well, I want black and white photographs. I like doing them in color so that they have a choice. They have a choice of color or black and white. Because a lot of times in the past they would say, oh, I'm black and white. We'll do black and white photographs, use black and white film. And they would say, I wish I had this in color. So we're doing everything in black and white. Color. Every black and white you see here was originally done in color. We had black and white print made. And then we're having the selective coloring done. We have an artist in New Orleans who is hand painting those for us, and everyone is different, and they're very popular. And what we're doing is adding a selective coloring price on top of our print price, of course, depending on the size of the print. Parents like to do that because they're calling and asking us, what would be good for the selective coloring, what color clothes I can have the child wear. They like it because it's an individual thing, so theirs doesn't look like anyone else's.
One of the important things with selective coloring is to have a prop, like the little girls with the hat and the cat, and also to have the little guy with the baby's color, his in blue. He's all in the just color his suit. Yes, Lon?
On your black and white, do you charge the same price as color
No.
or plus?
No, we have actually three. We have a color price, we have a black and white price, which is done with just usually the lab does regular black and white from that. And we have a fiber paper price also. We can have it done on fiber paper like this, which is, again, an additional price. We keep going up.
This is so much richer that people usually choose this over this.
The black and white machine print and then the fiber paper.
So your black and white price is half of color, or how do you work?
It's
No,
about-
it's more than color.
Oh, it's about 50% additional.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more than color.
Runs about 50% additional. Yes.
What paper do you print that black and white on? What
Beats the
color?
heck out of me. I send it to the lab and say, print me a black and white.
I've been looking for a year to find a paper that's put on because you can't oil color panel.
It's
with
not
paper.
oil. It's not oil, is it? It's oil.
Yeah, that is oil.
Is it oil?
Yeah.
Well, then.
I don't know, whatever it is
Let's
they
look at
use.
this one. I can pass that.
Lyle could probably tell you more about the paper situation.
I refer all those questions to Mark.
Okay, good.
Turn the camera around on yourself now, Mark.
See me after the program.
But that selective coloring thing has been like unbelievable. And we have an artist that does it, but she's so busy now that it's taking a real long time. So Robin, who is like our right-hand man in the office, she's so wonderful. And Robin and Sharon assisted. We got Sharon originally when we needed someone 5 years ago, and then Robin came on the scene just to help part-time. Now Robin's working more than Sharon because Sharon doesn't want to work so much, but that happens. And they're just wonderful to have, they really are. We're very, very blessed because we have our business in our home, so it has to be someone we totally trust. Both of these ladies have a key to our house, and when they come in tomorrow morning, they'll let themselves in. And
Probably
so,
right now, you
no, I don't think so. That they don't do. But anyway, she said, I think I can do this. We had a client that needed one right away. And she said, I really think I can do this. And she kind of started playing with some samples that we had hanging around, some rejects in black and white. It's probably not that difficult to do.
I
So
think they're McDonald's colors, is that? I don't do them, so I'm not sure. Whatever the research.
There's a lot of them available.
Yeah.
yeah. So okay. Oh, folios. We didn't bring a folio on this. I don't know why, but we didn't. And one of the things that we're doing now, a lot of our clients, and another idea we got from a client was folio imprints. Okay? And folio imprints, or just they select the folio, we bring it to our local guy, we use Art Leather products, we bring it to our local guy and he puts the child's 3 months and they buy all of their previews from the 3 months with their name on it and the date. 6 months, the name, the date, 6 months. And they buy all of their folio of all their originals. And so we We had a client that asked about it, so we did it. We put a sample in the studio, and more people are doing that, you know? Just buying all the folios, I mean, all the previews in the folios. So again, you know, that's something that you have already. We have a local guy, CNS Distributors is his name, but I'm sure all of you have someone that distributes folders and folios and stuff like that. They can do imprinting, and they just imprint in the gold, and it's a minimal charge. And, you know, we charge a lot more for them. Yes?
What do you have in that imprint? Name?
Whatever they want.
Name, usually it's the name, and for instance, okay, this would say Tracy LaBrosse, and it would say 3 months and the date. Now, I couldn't think of this little girl's name, but Tracy.
It's not Tracy.
It's not Tracy.
They don't know.
She did the wedding, the wedding thing that I'm going to show you right now with her 2 girls. And she bought several portraits of this to make a wall grouping out of. Plus, she bought the folio, and she put on the little folio our wedding memories. And it was her children dressing up in her dress. As I was telling this gentleman earlier this morning, I would love to tell you this is my idea again, but it's not. I had a parent that called and said, Cookie, I have this great idea. I want to bring Allie over, and I want to put her in my wedding dress. And I want to have pictures of her taken dressing up in my wedding dress. I said, oh, let's see how soon we can get you in, because I love that idea. And this has been phenomenal. Parents or mothers who have their dresses heirloomed, taking them out. We had this portrait done.
And that's a good opportunity to do an extra charge session too, because
Yes.
we do about an hour and a half on that. And we might do 40 or 50 exposures, because we do a lot of different things. We'll bring in the mirror, big stand full-length mirror, and do some of that. And it gives you an opportunity to do a little extended session.
So it's just really you know, it's been wonderful. You can get so many ideas from parents that it's just astronomical. It really is.
On the imprinting, on the folios, are you using art method?
Yes.
Okay, are you using the 8F? Is that what we're, 6 or 4?
We're using all three of the double, the triple, and the quad.
Usually the 8
All
for
four
these
three sizes.
is what we use.
Oh, no, it's used.
Are you imprinting them on the outside?
On the outside of the folio.
You fold it up, right on the front.
Which is another thing to make extra money. I don't particularly like money, but I like that I can go past those antique shops after who's telling me about today buy things with it. So, you know, I like things that are going to add on and make extra money for me. I always want to do something that's going to make a little extra money.
You don't improve on the back, you put it on the outside.
No, it's on the outside of the folio. On the outside of the folio.
Let me tell you a little bit, let me tell you a lot about our seasonal promotions. We thought we were busy several years ago, and then we just decided, let's do some seasonal promotions. And we got the idea, we went to Winona. We studied in Winona with George and Betty Bloodworth for a week. If you don't know these people, get to know them. They are wonderful, wonderful people. They're in Nashville, Tennessee. They have a studio that most of us would probably do anything to have. It's a wonderful studio. It's a house. The whole house is their studio. They have a complete outdoors area outside with a creek and boulders and all this kind of stuff. But they're just marvelous people, and they've built their business with seasonal promotions, which we started doing as kind of an experiment. Well, let's see if this works. It works. We do 4 seasonal promotions. We do Easter, we do summer, we do fall, and we do Christmas. Our Easter special. We started doing Easter specials 4 years ago.
Yeah.
4 years ago. We do the live Easter bunny special. Anybody doing live bunnies? Yeah, doing the bunnies, okay?
Amazing.
Aren't they wonderful?
Love those little bunnies.
When we started in '93, which our first year we did it, we did it for 3 days. We sent out a card to everybody on our mailing list. We put 2 days on the card. We had 3 different packages on the card. We kept it fairly inexpensive because on our specials, we don't do previews, we don't do a full-length session. We bring the children in. We're doing 1 session every 10 minutes. And in doing that, we'll take 2 or 3 exposures. We pick the best one. The package is prepay, and we give the people a 2-week time to come in and pick up their package later. We pick, again, the best exposure. We did in the 3, well, we had expanded days. 2 days on our card, and we had so many people calling. We filled up those 2 days, and we added another day and filled it out. So we wound up doing 150 sessions in those 3 days. We thought it was fantastic. We will never do any better than this. Then the word got out about the live bunnies. The following year, 94, we did an additional day. Again, we only put 2 days on the card, because if you put 4 days, we know people are going to say, well, I want this one and that one, procrastinate a little bit. Where if you just have the 2 days, you can always expand it 1 day earlier or 1 day later. We did 4 days, and we did 200 sittings in those 4 days. Again, we do them every 10 minutes, except when my wonderful wife says, well, so-and-so has to come in, and we have one every 10 minutes. Can we kind of squeeze them right in here?
You know, when you have 10 kids, you know the ones that are just going to walk in and go. And you can do something, yeah, we kind of squeeze you in here.
So it averages about 1 every 7 minutes now.
Christmas is going to be probably a little bit closer to that, but you can do it.
In 95, we wound up doing 6 days and 320 sessions, and this year we did 8 days of live bunnies, and we did 456 days in 8 days.
Now, it wasn't 8 full days, because while bunny season's going on, we're also taking the big guy in the bunny suit out to our nursery schools. So we weren't able to do morning appointments at all for 4 of those days. So we had 4 full days and 4 half days. And we'd go do the big guy, the big bunny in the morning, then we'd come home and take a breath and have some lunch and start on the little bunnies in the afternoon and work till 7 o'clock that night, And still didn't satisfy all the customers.
What kind of an average did you have on those 456
About $50 a city. Well, actually about $52.
And bunnies
This year.
was
This year.
52.
So your initial package was?
I'm sorry.
Initial package was 35.
When we first
No,
started,
32.
First year we started was 32. This year?
This year was 30. The first year we started, our first package was 25.
Yeah.
That was 2 5x7s.
1 4x5 and 4 1s.
Now I have to tell you why we have the 4x5. Because we're terrible with picking out prints from negatives. So we just have our lab make up 4x5s and we just use our 4x5. So that's why we got it, because we're not good with negatives, either one of us. And I think it's something to do with when you get past 40, and especially past 50, your eyes aren't as good, That's our excuse anyway.
I wouldn't know.
So at any rate, we include a 4x5 in each package. That same package is now $38 for Christmas. And we just increased it from $35 from our fall special. We increased it to $38 for Christmas. And I thought, well, that's going to cut down on our Christmas. It really is. And we sent out 3 days choice, and we already filled 5 days, and we have 5 full days, and we have a waiting list.
And what's
So
the package?
the smallest package is 38 now, and it's 2 5x7s and 8 wallets and a 4x5.
What do you guys do for Christmas? Live reindeer?
Oh, no, please. No live animals. We'll get to that in a second, okay?
Could you name your other
Yes.
packages and prices?
Yeah, 38, 48, and 68. And in the second package, we added an 8x10.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And the third package, we have 2 8x10s, 4 5x7s, 4x5, and 8 lines. And we've been going up every year with this, as we said, and not in hopes of deterring anybody, but just, they're coming in. Yeah.
You had a question?
Yeah.
Well, I think this gentleman's first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you, when you're doing it that fast, what's your basic set like? You're not doing a lot of trouble with changing?
Oh, no,
Nothing
no.
changes. No
This
changes.
is, when you get this, we set up an elaborate set, okay? If you notice in the books that are going, in the big book
There's a
that's
bunny
going
picture in
around,
one.
that's the original bunny print that we did, and that was
So everybody
probably,
comes in and has basically the
yeah,
same
same thing,
Nothing
same thing.
changed, yeah.
We may change if we have a child that needs to sit differently or
Right.
something, we'll change props for that, but that's it. It's all basic, the basic same setup. We do a different one every year for Christmas and for summer and for our fall special. And fall and beach specials are the 2 hardest ones to change because, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you had it.
You use the same rabbit for 360 sittings?
Yes.
Poor guy.
Let me tell you about the rabbit. Let me tell you what you do with the rabbit.
Let's tell you all about it, and then, okay, that's the question.
Yes.
How many rabbits do you?
Okay, let's tell you all about what we do with the bunnies. So
We
can get
do
ahead
a
of that.
basket of bunnies, a BOB, a basket of bunnies. We usually work with about 12 rabbits. The key is baby bunnies.
Yeah.
Get them 3 to 4 weeks old. Well, any kind. They're 3 to 4 weeks old. They're not going to run around. If you get them older than that, they're going to be running all over your studio. You get them 3 to, now sometimes it's hard to get them that age. A lot of your pet shops will not sell you bunnies that young. You have to go to a rabbit farm if you live anywhere that's near, out in the country somewhere where they raise bunnies.
Actually, it's 4 to 5 weeks.
So I said 4 to 5 weeks. Is that what I said? Yeah. But anyhow, when they're that young, What we do, we work with about 12. We don't use all 12 at one time. We usually use about 8 at a time. That way you can rotate your bunnies. You know, they don't all have. And we get some black ones, some brown ones, some spotted ones, some white ones. Because a lot of times the little kids will say, "Oh, I want the brown bunny." You know, so you can swap them up. And putting them in the basket, they huddle together. They don't jump out of the basket. They will huddle together. And we can sit them in the basket, in the set, and maybe do 5, 6, 10 different sessions, and they won't move. They'll sit right there. And sometimes you got to wake them up, actually, huddling together and put the.
And what you do is if they start to, you know, you put them one way, and then in the seconds that it takes, the minutes it takes to change to the next person, you're no longer seeing their face, but their rear end, so you just pick up the basket and turn it around. And then you got their faces again,
No,
you know.
they do make a mess.
Yeah,
So
they
every now
are
and then you gotta
messy and,
dump out the basket.
The kids don't actually hold the bunnies, that's...
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes they do, and what I'm gonna do this year is I'm gonna have a couple of the bunnies declawed. Because bunnies, they get nervous when you pick them up and they do this, and so I don't want them to scratch your children, so I always tell them, if, you know, I wanna hold one, I wanna hold one.
About that big.
If you wanna hold one, you pick them up, and I show them, this is the way you have to pick them up, under their little tummies.
And older children,
And
not
pat their little
1-year-olds.
head. Now, don't put them, if they have short pants on, don't put them on your legs, because they're gonna scratch you, and I don't want you to get scared. They're gonna jump, okay? And you tell them that ahead of time, so, and still you're gonna get something to go, and they go like this, and want to put the bunny up in the air, you know? But, as a matter of fact, one of the prints that we have today, the little girl's holding the bunny up by the ears. But for the most part, the bunnies are treated very, very well. They really are.
SPCA hasn't been.
And, no, they are treated well. When we first started doing the bunnies, my daughter-in-law, who's a real animal activist, and my best friend, who's a wonderful photographer, Dottie Lou, were going to picket our house. They kept telling us the night before that they'd be there the next morning with picket signs, picketing because we were abusing these bunnies, you know. But we do trade them out. We don't try and use them for a long length of time. And I think that that's the secret to it, is that you don't try to have just one bunny and an older bunny, because an older bunny is not good. But have the basket full of bunnies, and I think that's what's been the secret to our success, is having the basket of bunnies. It really has.
When we first started, we rented the bunnies. We went to a bunny farm, we rented them, and then we returned them. And that could be kind of expensive because they were charging so much per day, and we were using them 5 or 6 days, and we were bringing them back. So what we're doing now, we buy the bunnies. We bring them home, we use them for the 5, 6, 8 days, whatever we're going to do. And then at each session we do, we ask the parents, would you like to have a bunny when we're done? And we'll mark your ticket, and at the end of the special, we'll just randomly go through and pull out whatever number of bunnies we have and call them out and give the bunnies away. So we have happy children and unhappy parents. So we have a cage, and the hardest part is actually keeping them clean. Because you have the cage in there, and every night after you finish, you got to leave the cage. It's just not fun.
And I'll tell you something that's really funny is the parents will say, yes, we'll take a bunny, and you'll call, and I'll get the father instead of the mother. Well, she's not here, can I give her a message? Yeah, I just want to tell her this is Creative Images, and Bobby wanted a bunny. He did what? And so you know, when the parent calls you back and says he can't have a bunny, then you just go through and pick another name. You go through another name. Sometimes that does happen. One little guy came in and he got his bunny, and with the next couple of months he came in for his 4-year-old portrait. And he walks in and he looks at me and he goes, Cookie, I have a Jurassic bunny. He is Jurassic. I'm so glad that he got big. He said, he's too big. I said, well, there's no returns on bunnies, guys. You know?
One of our clients named the bunny Cookie.
Yes. There's a bunny running around named Cookie.
These specials are a good opportunity if your lab does a packaging for you, some kind of a special promotion package. It's a wonderful opportunity here because you can have print whatever ones you decide in this package or add-on package or however you do it. This is an excellent opportunity for that sort of situation.
I'll tell you, look, we went with a feed store in our community, and because we didn't want to end up with our bunnies, and this may help people out here too, we do a postcard for our bunny special along with our, for dropping off at our nursery school, and we put the name on the postcard that the bunnies are supplied by our local feed store, and when we get through, we just give them back to them, and we don't send them or buy them or do anything. And if the parents, and we do offer them to the parents, but if they don't, most of the time they don't take them, so we were always stuck with them. But by that little bit of advertising, plus they put my cards on their counter.
That's a good idea, thank you.
Yeah, that worked really, really well.
And it's swap off.
When you do your promotion, how close are you to it? Do you run your, maybe a week, 4 weeks, 4 days, whatever?
Okay,
Your promotion, how close to Easter do you do this?
not close at all.
Good.
People usually want these back.
Right.
Matter of fact, I scheduled it so early last year, I had a hard time. The lady I usually got my bunnies from a bunny farm closed up. and promised me she was gonna give me the lady that bought her business, and I never could get in touch with either one of them. So I had no bunnies, so we had to go to pet stores and buy bunnies.
So about a month and a half?
Yeah,
4
so
weeks out.
we're doing, probably 4 to 6
4 to
weeks.
6 weeks before, yeah.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks, because that way they have them if they want to put them in their Easter cards or whatever.
Another thing, also, the day we do the specials, when the parents come in, as I said, it's prepaid, they come in, they fill out the ticket, they bring their ticket back to the camera room. We offer discounted additional prints at the same time. When they come in and buy their package, if they want to add on 8x10s, additional wallets or whatever, we do them at a discount on that day only. They add them on. If they come back and when they pick up their package and they want to say, oh, I love this, can I go ahead and add an 8x10? Sure, but it's our regular portrait prices after that.
Is everything prepaid?
Yes, everything is prepaid. They come into the reception room, they've never been to our studio before. They come into the reception room, and I tell them ahead of time when it's a new person that calls. Everyone in the office is instructed to be sure and let them know this is not the normal way that we do business. That usually you're the only client, in the home when we're doing the shot and that's actually taking photographs. On special days, it's kind of like a zoo atmosphere. You may come and there may be 10 people there. And one of the problems we have is that people just feel comfortable at our house. And they'll come in and they'll go, oh, Sue, I didn't know you came here. And before you know it, we have 6 girls that are visiting, 6 ladies that are visiting in our reception room, and we have kids that are changing clothes, so it's crazy, it really is. But they just come in, they pay for their package, they come back, and they get their photograph done, and then they come back at a pre-established date to pick up.
Put that on the
We do
tickets
not
the day
mail
they
them
come in.
out. We tried mailing them out one time, and it was a disaster, because some people want to pick them up, some people, it just works better for us to come, and so there's no extra charge for mailing either. So they come back and they pick them up. And they can come anytime during that day. I have extra help that day, and they're just, the people come in, the doorbell may ring every 2 seconds. And so that's fine, because everybody's picking them up. And a lot of times new people will say, well, what if I don't like them? Well, if you don't like them, I would be happy to give you your money back. Our business is strictly referral, and I will have to tell you that in probably all the years we've been doing packages, we've maybe had 10 clients that have been unhappy. Maybe. That might be overestimated, okay? So, and that kind of gives them, well, that's okay, that's not so bad if I get my money back if I'm not happy, so.
Now, does your lab pick up the vegetables?
No, we pick it out.
So you put it in 4x5 grouping?
That's why we have them proof, because the first year, as we said, we tried editing from the negatives, and I can't do that. It's hard to see a child smile, whether it's a good smile out from negative. Now, if you got a
Now,
machine, if you
yeah,
got
if you're a lab,
Photodix
you
or
can
something
do
like
that,
that, or if
yeah.
your lab will do it for you. We were thinking about maybe in the future going to a Photodix sort of thing and showing on a screen and editing like that. We may do that, I don't know. Right now, I like the proof. One reason I like the proofs is if I do 3 exposures of the child, I'll go through and I'll pick the one I think is the best. I'll print the package. Mom may come in and say, oh, I think he did better. Can I see the other ones? Sure. I'll pull out the other 2 that are in the ticket and show them all 3 of them, and 99% of the time I've chosen the best one, But they may say, well, I like this one better. That's fine, we'll print you another package. We want to be happy, so we'll reprint the package with
Will the
their
lab give
choice.
you such a discounted price for doing it?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, they
Do they? Oh, see, I don't
yeah,
know.
you mean the initial packaging?
The original packaging?
Yeah, it's like a front package.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant on reprints, but
Yeah, no, we just have the tally sheets, we go through and I tell them frame 1, print this package, and add on 8x10, frame 2, skip frame, that sort of thing. It goes real quick. And it's like a front pack sort of thing, the price.
Your advertising then is mail out postcards and flyers at your preschool?
We send a postcard out to not the preschool, just to everybody on our customer list. We have like 1,600 names on our customer list.
That's a postcard?
The postcard, yeah.
It's a little postcard. And one of the things that we and this again, we're learning as we do it. We started in 93 was our first bunny special, so this 97 will be the 5th time. But anyway, we started in 93, and we're learning as we go along. And originally, when people heard about it, they'd be in to do other portraits and say, oh, can I go ahead and sign up now? And then when you send the postcards out, somebody would call and say, well, how did it be filled up for that day? I just got my postcard. So we do it this way. When someone calls, if you're a new person, we'll put you on the mailing list. Everybody gets a fair shot. And they'll call and say, I'll tell them, look, you might want to push redial on your phone and just continue with your portable phone, doing whatever you have to do. You may have to call 10 times before you get through. Even with our, we just got a rollover line put in, and that's helped some. But even with that, we have people that can't get through. We'll have one office that'll call, and there's like 10 girls in the office that all come to us. And they'll say, oh, we finally got through. Okay, here's so-and-so, here's so-and-so. And they just pass the phone around and we get all 10 appointments at one time, you know. So we have mothers that are calling to do phonies. I promise you this, that babies are in the womb, kids. They haven't delivered the children yet. And they're calling and saying, when is the Easter special? It's like, you know, we kind of have a running joke at the office, who's going to have the best bunny story at the end of the year? And recently Robin said, I think I have the best, when the mother said, well, you know, we're thinking about having a baby. And somebody was telling about your special, and you really have to get in ahead of time. And I thought that was so bizarre. This lady really, I don't know if it's wise for her to have a baby. But I mean, can you imagine that? That's just so foreign to us, you know? And we have a client that called me last week, and she said, okay, I have to change my appointment. And I said, you know, we'll see what we can do. We'll work something out. She said, I said, what's going on? She said, my husband surprised me for our 10th anniversary. He's taking me to Europe, and it's the day I have my picture scheduled. And I'll be back that day. Can we make it the next day?
She was going to tell the husband she couldn't
She said,
go.
I don't know. They had to miss their Christmas pictures last year. I can't let that happen again. I said, honey, for you, I would not let anybody miss a trip to Europe to get a picture taken, you know. So, I mean, it's so, you know, it's fun. It's lots and lots of fun. We love special days. Unfortunately, this year we had a family emergency. And our son did the Halloween special for us. Our son and a very good friend of ours came over and shot together. And they handled it wonderfully. But I missed it. I really missed out because I like being there.
And it's a great source of new clients too. In our 450-some sittings this year, we probably had at least, 80 maybe, 80 to 100 new people coming in that were referred by other people. And so it's another source of new clients.
What's your turnaround time?
2 weeks. Let me back up. We bring the film to lab. We get our
Because we're local, we get it.
We're local with ours, so we get our previews back in about 2 days on those. I mean, they do those, but they know they're special. They get them back quick to us. I'll edit them, get them back to them in about 2 days, and we'll get our packaging back in about 4 days. So we usually set up the pickup day about 3 weeks after the actual shooting day. And even though we're shooting on maybe 8 days, we have like 3 days for pickup because we don't need to extend.
So you're looking at a week for your package to be ready?
Yeah,
From the time I
a
order.
week to a week and a half.
Yeah, right.
A week to a week.
Yeah, and then we got to package them, and we
Yeah, so we just like to have them.
assemble them and package them. That's weird.
Any other questions on the bunny special?
Do you have the same people come back year after year, or is this a one-time
Oh,
thing?
yes. We have some that only come in for our 4 specials, which is fine. They come in and spend $50 4 times a year. That's cool, you know. And then, again, they'll come in for specials, and they'll say, well, what do you do for your normal photographs? And then when they come in the reception room to place their order for the special, they're seeing all our other work, and they're saying, well, come back and get this done, you know. But we have some that come in all 4 specials, they go year after year after year.
We have a lot of new clients that will come in, and they haven't even had the child's picture taken yet, and they're booking, because they see the work, they're booking for mother-baby portraits, or they're booking for the child's 1-year-old, and they haven't met us. We're in the back room. You know, we're back in the studio taking the pictures. So, and that's one thing that helps too, is that we work as a team. Tom's doing the photographs, and I'm making a fool out of myself. So that's a definite asset if you have an assistant. Somebody else had a question.
When you have these prepackaged items, and they want something other than this, they want 11, 14, 16, 20, are you going right off of the regular prices, or you go off the regular prices and give them a percentage off?
If they order the day we take the photograph, they get the discount, no matter what size. We have a set, 8 by 10, 5 by 7. If they want a larger size, 16, 20, that sort of thing, we will give them a discount that day. But if they do it anytime other than the day they do the actual session, it's a regular working price.
And those are round numbers?
1620s are 135, 14s are 60, I think. Something like that. Somebody had.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jeans and
Jean.
You said you did a 10-minute session, right?
Yes.
Huh?
How many exposures do you think?
It depends. Usually I do 2 just about on everybody, just to cover myself, you know. If we have a difficult child, I may do as many as 5 or 6. You know, I try not to, but I want to do as little as possible. But it averages about 3 usually. If there's 2 children, maybe 4 or 5.
And when we say 10-minute sessions, we try to schedule them every 10 minutes, but if the 5:30 is there at 5:20, and the 5:20 is running late, you know, and maybe the 5:40 comes in too, we might do 5:30 and 5:40 before 5:20 ever gets there, you know. And so we try to take them, if they all come in at the same time, naturally we take the person that's booked the earliest. But usually they're in and out of that camera room within 5 minutes.
You might have one session that's 2 minutes, and you might have one that's 12 minutes, but it all balances
It all
out.
balances out.
Yes. You again.
Well, when you first started the program, did you have just open studio time hours, or have you always appointment?
Always
scheduled
appointments,
appointment?
yeah, always appointments.
Because our studio's in our home, we
Because
have
we're
to
in a
do
residential area. We don't have a sign out front, we're in a home. I didn't want 20 cars showing up at one time and our neighbors complaining. So now, only 19 show up. You know? So usually we don't have, with this situation, we might have 4 or 5 cars out front. Regularly, on our regular sessions, we do all appointment only, so we only have 1 car at a time out front. You know? But that's mainly why we didn't do that, so that everybody would come at the same time.
Because we just have a small sign on our front door. Luckily for us with the car situation is that we have a synagogue and a church, like with the first block off the main street, and then we're in the next block. And so they're always having affairs that people park all around the neighborhood, so that works out well, you know. So,
Okay, let me tell you, I'm sorry.
One more question.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you include a Saturday in those
No.
4 days?
no.
No Saturdays.
We do not include
We
a
probably
Saturday.
should.
Well, we probably could book a Saturday solid, we're sure, but we don't include a Saturday because we do weddings on a Saturday. We usually don't include a Friday. With the specials, this year with the Christmas special, we're trying a Friday because we don't have a wedding on Friday night. But we don't photograph at all on a Friday. We photograph on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And except for from September through the end of November, because that's when you can't fit everybody in. So we do photograph sometimes as much as Monday through Friday. But we have late sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You'll find that if you tell a parent, if they say, oh, I'm working, I just can't get off, and you tell them, I'm really sorry, we don't do Saturdays because we have weddings, and these are our late nights, and you can't get an appointment for 6 weeks, you know, they'll do one or two things. They'll either get off from work, and most of the time that's what they'll do, or, well, 3 things I should say, or they'll send grandma in with the baby, or the nanny, or they will go someplace else, and luckily for us, we'll have them say, well, I went ahead and took them someplace else, but I really want to give you guys a try, so I'm coming back to you. And I made arrangements ahead of time. So, you know, you're available as you allow yourself to be. And being in your home is kind of, it's a great advantage, but it's a disadvantage too, because people think that while you're there, you know, you can just, we put enter in our phone at a certain time every night, and you know, people will call and leave messages, but...
People will call at 10:30 at night, but not in hopes of getting an answer. They're just leaving a message for you.
Right.
No, we're not going to answer.
You know, we can't hear the phone, so it's okay.
Let me tell you about our other 3 specials. Our summer special, which is our beach special. Let me pass this. We actually build a beach. I actually build a beach. Build a beach in the studio. There are 500 pounds of sand there. I know because it's 10 50-pound bags that I haul in, so I know. We got this idea again from the Bloodworths. The first year we did the beach and we built sand. This was our first.
That was the first one. It's foam core.
Foam core. Yeah. The sand castles on there are made of foam core also. You cut out sand castles out of foam core, you spray glue on them, you throw sand on it. It takes about 4 applications, but they make some really neat sand castles. Plain blue background for the sky. We've changed it somewhat. I think there's one in the album with some palm trees in it there. We've done palm trees. You know, there's only so many different ways you can make a beach. You know, put palm trees on. 2 years ago, we changed from the beach to a park special. We put grass on the floor, we put plants, we put a little park bench down and tried to do like a park scene with a little picnic basket. It was real popular.
It was good, but people were requesting the beach.
Yeah, they
They
said,
wanted the day,
"We want
I'm
the
going to have
beach."
the day at the beach again. And you think again, because you're having the same clients come back, how many different ways can you build a beach, you know? So we just keep trying to get more innovative every year.
Yeah, and they come in, you know, little bathing suits and all. We have lots of toy beach balls and sand toys and little sippers and buckets and all that kind of stuff. But usually parents bring their own. They bring a little, with the names on them, which are always good, little girls with little bathing suits with their names on the little buckets and all, which is really cute. In the fall, we do a fall special, which we just did last month. We don't make it, it's not a Halloween special, it's a fall special. We do hay bales, we do pumpkins, we do, what else do we do this year?
This is all. I think I'm gonna have a wallet.
We just did this. We have some little wooden crates that we put the babies in. We have a little wooden barrel. We want a real kind of fall look. We did that very early this, oh, we had the pumpkin
Pumpkin patch.
really
Pumpkin
good.
stand.
Pumpkin stand, thank you.
It's just a little wallet for grandbaby.
Just happens to be our
Just kind
granddad.
of get an idea. Well, I don't carry clients around in my wallet, guys. We did not have any, but I tend to bring that,
Yeah.
so.
Do you, when do you do the summer special? When do you do the fall special?
Okay, the summer we did in
June
June
this
this year. We did it in July, it was a little late, so we did it in June this year, seemed to work a lot better. This year we backed everything up earlier. We did the fall special in first week in October? Yeah,
Last week in
October.
September.
Last week in September, yeah, last week of September. We did it like the middle of October last year, and we started running into Christmas, so we backed everything up. We did that in September. Our,
And we did 200 at the fall
Yeah, we did
special.
about
The
200.
fall and the summer are the smaller ones. We do 200 probably in 3 to 4 days.
Same packages?
Same packages, yeah.
same identical
Same
packages.
packages.
The Christmas special, which we're going to be doing next week.
Yeah.
We do that usually the first, we did that last year, again, in the middle of November, a bit too late. This year, we're doing the first week of November, so that we have time to get them back, and they have their packages and all that, and give them time to do reorders for Christmas also, so that we're not running right into the Christmas deadline. On our Christmas special, last few years, we've been doing it at our fireplace in our den. We have some people that are professional decorators who are coming in this Wednesday night and decorating our fireplace. We don't use a Christmas tree. We didn't use a Christmas tree.
Well, the first year
First
we
year
used a
we did,
Christmas
yeah.
tree. Every year, again, it's got to be different. So the first year we used a Christmas tree and we used traditional red and green and old time ornaments. And we went to the next year of using the cream color. I think there's a family in front of the fireplace with the cream color, tree decorated with the cream colors and the gold. It's in that blue book. It's toward the back. Excuse me. And then the next year we went to, last year we went to no tree at all. We did no tree, and we did the, just decorated the fireplace, and used different props there. This year we're doing a Victorian Christmas. I bought the neatest trunk right before I left, and it's an antique trunk, and we're going to open that and have old-looking toys coming out of it. And we're not going to have a tree again. We're just going to have the younger children, the real young ones. We figured out a way we're going to be able to sit them in the trunk, we hope. We have to experiment with a couple of neighbors first. And we're going to sit them in the trunk. And then we're going to, the older children stand next to the trunk, sit next to it. Parents, when we come in with families, because this is geared to children, even though the families do come a lot, and, people say, well, why do you do that? Because they're going to come for family portraits anyway. Trust me, guys, we're booked solid for family portraits, too, for the people who want to come and not do the special. So that's why we do it. But they'll come in and, they'll sit to the side of the trunk. This is what I have in my mind anyway. Sit to the side of the trunk, maybe dad leaning on it, or standing behind it or whatever. And so it's going to be all Victorian. It's going to be done in deep burgundies and deep greens. So, that'll be our one for this year. But every year it's a challenge to make it different because you have the same people coming back every year.
And we do a lot of families on the Christmas special, also because they want to order Christmas cards. And that's another reason why we do it earlier, so they have time to order, order their Christmas cards. Anything else on our specials before we press on?
One quick question.
Yes.
When you started these, the first year, what kind of numbers are you looking at? Like on your fall, your Christmas special, your summer special?
When we did the first Easter was, what did we say?
We did 150.
Okay, 150 with the bunnies. We did not send out, we sent out a card for the summer special, and we did about 200 then. Then we did not send out a card for the fall special because we're thinking, it costs us so much to mail out these cards. Let's just, at the summer special, we'll have everybody booked for the fall special. That doesn't work because they forget, okay? So we probably did maybe 125 for fall, and then we went ahead and sent out a card for Christmas. This year we've done something different. We're sending out a card for every session, all 4, and it's really worked well. It really has. The fall and summer are probably the 2 smallest ones. Yes.
On the card that you send out, do you do a photograph of the set
No.
that you're going to use?
No.
Or is it just black and white card?
It's a green card for Christmas. It's a
Yellow card for the
Okay, but it's just,
Orange card for the following.
it's just type.
Just a little, yeah, it's just done on the computer and brought to Kinko's and they make the copies and we send them out. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I'm real, like people call and say, well, we're making an appointment, what is the background going to look like? So for Christmas especially, I have got to have in my mind what the color scheme is going to be because they're going out and buying their dresses. And traditionally, you should, the experts say you should send these out like 2 weeks ahead of time. We always send ours out at least 3 weeks ahead of time because parents do need time to get their clothing.
And the mail service being what it is, we have sent cards out on Saturday and people haven't gotten in, right, like in our same neighborhood, don't get them until like a week later.
Yeah, so, that's all part of it. But if you will try these specials, I promise you, your business will just grow in unbelievable leaps and bounds.
Have you ever thought of, instead of sending cards, do it by phone call? Hiring somebody and going down the
1,600
list?
people, no.
No, the cards are working too well. I don't want to bother people on the phone. I don't like people to call me. I really don't. I don't like someone to call me when I'm having dinner at
Now,
night.
if you have, if you're a small studio and you're just starting, yeah, it would probably work if you had a limited number of people to call it. It might work. We don't send cards out to our nursery schools, which we probably should. We have some of our clients that are from nursery schools that are on our customer list, but we haven't sent anything to our nursery schools. We'll talk about that in a minute also.
Okay, any other questions on the specials?
Okay, let us tell you about our nursery schools. Yay, anybody do nursery schools? Everybody.
Oh,
Yay.
good.
Lots of people, aren't they fun? We started doing nursery schools about 1978. How long was that? Long time. 18 years ago. We went to a PTA convention and we saw a program on nursery schools and it sounded pretty interesting, so we decided we would give it a try. It takes a special mentality to do nursery schools, or like we like to say, probably no mentality at all to do nursery schools.
That fits.
That fits. Works for me. If you haven't done them, or a good way to start is your phone book. Phone books have a listing of the preschools, nursery schools, daycare centers, child care centers. At the beginning, we sent a letter to everyone in our yellow pages. In New Orleans, we had like 250 nursery schools in our yellow pages. So we sent a letter to everyone. And on our letter, what we did, we included 3 little wallet-sized pictures of different backgrounds that we could offer, and we explained our packaging and all that sort of thing. It's kind of difficult because the owners are hard to get in touch with. We would call like in the morning and the owner's not here till the afternoon, or we call in the afternoon, the owner's only here in the morning. Some nursery schools, the owner's only there like 10 minutes a day and then the staff does everything else.
Best time to get your nursery school owners is early in the morning. Okay, I'm not an early in the morning person, but I would get up every morning like the guy that had to make the donuts, I'd get up every morning and have my coffee and I would start calling people real early because that's your best time to catch your nursery school directors and you do need to speak with them. When you call, I called every one of them myself. When you call, because at the time, Tom and I were truly doing everything ourselves. But when you call them, you ask if the nursery school director's not in, you say to them, Sharon, would you mind if I ask how many children you have in your school? And if they say 15, say, great, thanks so much. I appreciate your time. I'll try and call you later. And if it's 15 children, you want to scratch them off the list. We started with a minimum of 20 children. And it was like, to some photographers in our area, that was like, oh, crazy. Well, our minimum went up to 30, but we just feel like, hey, if we can get up in the morning and go to a school and get it done as quickly as we get it done, they come home to a full day of sessions, why not? I'm not so good that I can't say, well, that's beneath me to do that. I love working with kids, and I think that that's a great way to make money. I truly do.
You try to make an appointment with the director when you finally get in touch with them. Try to make an appointment, even if they have somebody that is doing their school pictures, and most of them there are. Go out and talk to them in person. Take your work out, show them your work, show them what you can do. We tell them that it can be a fundraiser for the school if they'd like to. We have a certain price on our packages, and our packages right now run about $20, $21. Again, how you set your packages up entirely up to you and your lab, or whatever special package you can come up with. But we don't give them a percentage. I don't like to do that. I want to take my profit away. Our price is $21. If you want to make it a fundraiser for your school, we'll add $1, we'll add $2. We have one school that adds $5 to our price. That's fine. Doesn't cost us a cent. We We take the number of packages that they sold and send them the check for their, whatever their override was, so it can be a fundraiser. Our packages have the school name printed on them, so it's an advertisement for them also, so the labs can usually do that for you. We tell them that we do the photographs very quickly. We've had schools tell us that some of these big national concerns come in and they're there to school all day long taking pictures, tying up everything. We do it very quickly. A school with maybe 50 children, we can get in and do individuals of each child, do class pictures and be out of there in 2 hours probably or less, very quickly. But we do work with the children. We work together, either Cookie and I, or my son Kevin and I, or him. We work together and we do maybe 1 or 2, sometimes several exposures to the child. We do edit, the lab edits the film for us, or you can edit it, whatever works best for you. The teachers, we offer them a half-price package. If they want to do their own pictures, we do a half price for them. The group photographs, we give each of our teachers a group photograph of their class. We print a group 5x7 for everybody that's in the picture, so that if the teacher's in there, she will have a picture of her own class. We can do it on speculation or prepay. Now, when we first started, we did all of our schools on speculation. We would go in, we'd photograph all the children, we'd deliver a finished package and give them the option to purchase or not to purchase. It kind of puts the burden on you to do a good job, because if you don't do a good job, they're not going to buy you, you're not going to get money. But we found that about 80 to 85% of our parents were buying our packaging. Now we're getting just about all of our schools, and we do about 35 or 40 nursery schools. We have about all but maybe 2 or 3 are doing prepay, which is even easier because you only photograph the children that are paid. You only have to go deliver the packages and you're done with them. You don't have to worry about going back and getting your money collected and all that sort of thing. On photo day, as I said, we work with the children. We bring all of our silly props, the hammers and the puppets and all that kind of stuff. Speak very softly to the children. Have the teachers bring the children to you and have them give you their first name. Very important that you use the child's first name. Don't say, hey you, use their name because they feel much more comfortable that way. Straighten your clothes real quickly.
Combing the hair, we let the teachers comb the hair
Yes.
because we don't know how the hair is supposed to look. They see him every day, and sometimes they'll send a kid in, his hair's all messed up, and I'll say, well, is that Johnny's hair? Can we do it? Nope, that's Johnny, that's the way he looks. Okay, great, we'll take a picture, But you want to make sure that you ask that question if they're really disheveled looking.
We keep our packages very simple. That was one of the things that our schools didn't like about some of these big companies coming in. They had like 15 different packages. We have 2 packages to choose from. You get the whole package or half package, either way you want to do it. Your packaging, again, is up to you. You know what your schools might want to do, or you can get with them on how they might want to do it. But you can say, try to keep it simple. It just makes it easier for your parents that way. We also now are doing something, we were very stupid. For about the first 8 or 10 years we did these, we just delivered a package and we were done with it. And parents would call us up and say, well, I'd like another package, or I'd like another 8x10 from the package. Can I order that? Well, let's see. You have to send us a wallet. We don't know which your child is, so now we've gotten really smart.
Remember the negative rating, guys. We just sent out the prints. We didn't have their name. We don't take names, okay?
No, we don't do
Because
roll
that-
numbers or frame numbers.
Yeah, we just
photograph.
do it because that's what gets us in and out quick. But for reorders, all we would have to do is number the negatives, It's
And then we
like,
printed up a reorder sheet with discounted prints. We put a reorder sheet in every package, sent it to the school. Now all you do is fill it out, put it in the mail it to us with a check, and mail it back their reprints. The first year we did it, we had like over $1,000 for reorders.
we thought of all the years that we missed out on that, And we're like, why did we think of that?
You come up with a list about all the names of the kids that you...
No, we don't take their names.
We don't care.
We take, if you all were preschool, okay, if you were preschool, we come in and photograph all of you, we do your group, and we leave. And we know which school you are, and when we finish, when we get the product back and we deliver it to you, we deliver it to you. The preschool teacher knows who belongs to who, okay? If we're doing it on speculation, we don't have to do anything, just keep going. If we're doing it on prepay, we have them come in and hand us an envelope. And the envelope, we take the envelope and put it aside, take the child's picture. We do have their name then, but, we don't need it. We really don't need their name because the directors of the school or the teachers at the school are going to just go through and say, this is you, this is you, this is you, this is you,
But when we get the package in, we assemble the package, we match up the individual child to his group, put it together in
Right.
the package.
And
That's
now,
another thing
when we
that-
thought about the orders, about giving me extra orders, we're numbering the negative pins. Something so simple, you know, do you ever do that?
We're putting a number on the back of
You
the
know, like,
box. That's
why didn't I think of that?
That's what we were making clear.
Yeah.
Negative number 14, you write number 14 on the back of the check.
Right.
5 by 7 or 8, whatever you're doing on the back of the amount. So when they send it, and the reorder sheet has photo number, so when they send us a reorder, it says Jones Daycare Center, picture number 14. So we just pull the negatives, and there it is. I think that answers your question. Okay. So we don't really care who the children are.
Yeah.
It makes no difference to us.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to worry about, and that speeds things up a great deal, it really does. Yes?
If you have the names of all these kids, wouldn't that be in your database for all your other specials?
Yes.
We get lots of business, family business all from these nursery schools by.
We started our database, as a matter of fact, I have to give Lyle Ramsey Studios credit for that. We started our database that way because, again, you know, you have to realize Tom was an insurance agent, and even though I was in sales, I wasn't working with him. I was with a company called Home Materials for 16 years, and I wasn't working with him, so I wasn't involved. And when I did start to get involved, I'd go to conventions and stuff with him occasionally, and when I did start to really get involved, we started thinking about these things, you know, and it was like, yeah, we need to do that. But we went to a Lyle Ramsey seminar that Gene Cordes gave in Houston, huh, Gene? Yes. And they were talking about the database and about all the things that, you know, that you could, and we both looked at each other and went, we've been taking the money out the envelope and throwing it away.
Not the money in the envelope.
I know y'all think we're dumb, but I mean, it was just like, you know, we were busy. Hey, we were happy. We didn't need to make a small fortune here, you know. We were just, hey, let's just do this. We were making a living and we were having a good time. Well, now we're making a living. We're working real hard, but we get to play real hard because we are making money. And so, you know, but yeah, that's an excellent way. And I do have to credit Lyle's Studio for that because, you know, that's where we got the idea from Gene, was using those names.
What we're doing
The
now.
light bulb went off.
The only names we're really putting on our database now are studio clients. Not that there would be anything wrong with putting on names from the nursery schools, but we're just putting on our studio clients now.
Simply because we can't fit, we're so busy, we just can't, and we know that, and we're always constantly keeping our name out there. And, you know, and maybe now that Kevin's in the business and he's going to be able to shoot some days when we're not shooting, then we will go ahead and add to that list. But, you know, 1,700 people is plenty to take care of when they're coming in 4 times, 5 times, sometimes 6 times a year.
When we went around, knocked on doors, little leagues and things like
Yeah.
nursery schools, we found that so-and-so is doing the job for us, and we're not going to change because they're getting it done for us. Do you press, or you just say, well, thank you for your time, and we'll get back to you next year?
Let me leave a sample with you, and if you ever decide to make a change, and again, because we know so many photographers that are really good friends, I would never ever want to take their business away from them. So I would simply say, let me leave this sample with you, and then, you know, if something happens, you decide to make a change, give us a call. Just keep us in mind. We appreciate your time. That's it, you know. And if it's, you know, that'll happen. Sometimes they'll call you back. You know, every now and again, we'll lose a school. And it's because somebody else has come along and offered them something that, you know, one of our competition that we have in our area for the national company is Teddy Bear, I think it is. Are y'all familiar with Teddy Bear? Yeah, and, you know, they give a bag with it. And most of the teachers will tell us they hate the photographers that come out. But they have this that they offer. We have a couple of schools that will do them and us because they get this little bag with the photograph on it, you know, but it's not something that we offer. But you just don't, you know, I think that the nicer you are to people and the less you make them feel pressured, the more they're going to want to come to you and feel more comfortable with you, and I think that's real important.
Also at your nursery schools, we are doing the bunny. We bring the big guy in the bunny suit at Easter time, and that's a real quick, that's a prepaid package. It's a very much smaller package. You do like 2 5x7s and 4 wallets for like $13, $14.
$14,
like that.
yeah.
Prepaid package. Put the child on the bunny's lap and do a picture. That's real quick. And then again, Santa Claus also. So probably 80% of our nursery schools do the bunny and the Santa too.
You bring Santa to the nursery?
Yes, we have a professional Santa.
We're so brave, you said.
No, it's a nursing home, and I went,
No,
Nursing
nursery school.
Nursery
Nursery
school.
school, yeah.
a little different.
We have a professional Santa. We're very
The
lucky.
first year that we were going to do the bunny, we rented the bunny costume, and, you know, we went out to that, well, we just run out and rent a bunny costume, and we went, and they were like so ugly. They have some of the ugliest bunnies in creation. They really do. And so we rented a really nice one, and it was very expensive to rent. And I told Tom, I said, he said, this isn't gonna work. I don't know why we're doing this. It's just a waste of time. People aren't gonna want to do this. They take their kids to the mall to do this. Well, the first year, the way that I convinced him to do it is, guess who had to be the bunny? Yours truly. So I put the bunny suit on every morning. The only nice thing about that is you don't have to do your makeup or your hair because you're putting this big yucky head on top, you know. And the first year we did so many that we wound up buying our own bunny suit, which the really nice one was like $600. It has paid for itself 100 times over. I mean, it's just really paid for itself. And so it worked. So we said, well, if it works for that, then, you know, we felt like these other photographers, we're doing the school pictures and they're coming and doing Santa and Bunny. That's money that we should be making. And so now we do everything. We bring Santa too.
You may have said this, and I may have missed it. Are the Santa and Bunny on speculation?
No.
Or are those prepaid also?
Those are all prepaid. Those are always prepaid. And it's 2 5x7s and 4 wallets and it's $14. And that's going up, you know, this year.
And again, some of our schools add on to that as a money maker for them. That's fine. We can do that. Quick hint about doing Bunny, the little kids with Bunny and Santa. The ones that are like 18 months to 2, something that are going to be scared. We pretty much got all of our schools trained now, so they bring the child in, not seeing Santa backwards, bring you in like that, and we're ready. Bump on Santa's lap, snap your fingers, call his name, take the picture, and get him out.
Then if you get a smile, great. But if you don't, that's fine. You didn't get him screaming. And so, you know, the teacher will be walking with the child, and I'm going, you know, she's got him here, and she's going forward, and he's backwards, and I'm like, look, see Barney? Hey, here's Barney. And I'm talking to him and saying, watch Barney, whoop, you know, doing all these silly things to entertain the child till we get him there. Pop him on Santa's lap, take the picture. Then if we can't get a smile, we've at least got a picture. And then if they're scared, they're scared. We have a wonderful Santa Claus that he's terrific with the kids. He drives me crazy, but I have to deal with that. He's just terrific with the kids. He truly is. He's just wonderful, wonderful with the children. So if you're fortunate enough to get a Santa who's a professional, and again, we started off with buying our own Santa suit. We had a friend who played Santa, and you know, and that works out great, except that when he can't come at the last minute, then you're stuck. And one time Tom had to get into the Santa suit, and unfortunately it was my nephew's school. And he went out in the yard and told everybody, that's my Uncle Tom in that suit. So at Christmas at our house, we had someone else play Santa, and so he kept looking at Santa and looking at Tom, and looking at Santa and looking at Tom, trying to figure it out, you know. Kids are so smart, they really are. Okay, any other questions about preschools? Yes, Lon?
Only a comment. Studio out in California, Santa makes a secret visit in September and October.
A secret visit?
Yeah. Santa's going to be in town very secretly. He's going to come by your school.
Oh, cute idea. That's a wonderful idea. And I know a lot of you do, in your studio, you do peekaboo Santa. We don't have a place to do that. And that's the other thing. When we do our Christmas special, we don't have Santa. We had Santa last year, and I'll never do it again. Because I have children that come to us, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year. I don't want these children to be afraid to come. And we have one little girl that it took me a year to get her happy at the studio. She's 3 years old, and we had to work all over again this year to get it back again because she was scared to death of Santa. So we don't have Santa, we don't have the big bunny. If I had a place that I could put them that was disassociated with somebody else doing it, that'd be great. But, you know, because it's our home and because it's our studio and it's us, they automatically think that we're going to have Santa and the bunny every time. Okay, any other questions? Okay.
We're going to pass out a couple little things here, just some kind of inspirational sayings. As Cookie said, she used to work for a company called Home Interiors, and the lady who owned the company was Mary Crowley, and she was one of the greatest ladies I've ever met in my life. And it's just some little sayings here that she has left for us, and a little thing here from Charles Swindoll. Also, this is a flyers list and some of the people that we do business with.
It's by Charles Swindoll, and it says, the longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is playing on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% of what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. This just really says it all. You know, we are so blessed to have had this opportunity to share with you all. But we'd be very remiss if we didn't say that we feel the reason that we are here is not because Tom and Cookie are wonderful, but because God has given us the opportunity to share. And we truly do give the credit and the glory to Him, because without Him, we couldn't do anything that we do. Trust me, there's no way without Him we could get through a day, believe me. But we just want to thank all of you for being here, and thank Patsy and Jean and Lyle for having us. We truly appreciate it. And by the way, we have a little New Orleans goodie that we brought you three guys, okay? So we'll make sure we get it before you all leave today. We also brought along some little books. I thought we had more. If you don't get one of these, if you'll all take one. If you don't get one, just give us your business card and I'll mail you one. This is written by the lady that ran Home Interiors, and it's a really wonderful, wonderful thing. It's got all these little quotes in it, and it's a great thing to carry in your car when you're in traffic. It's, you know, stopped on the freeway, don't worry about the light changing or the traffic starting because the guy behind you will always let you know it's time to leave. But men, you aren't going to like this. One of my favorite quotes in here is that God made man, and then he looked and went, I think I can do better, and he made woman.
Pass around the mic, okay? Pass it around.
We're going to take a break, but just for a moment, while you're still seated, because we have so many presentations today, this will be a last chance for the group to get to hear some group answers. And I'm sure there are just a few more questions that you have. Before we let them relax and have fun with us, does the group have any more individual questions for Cookie and Tom? Any questions? Wow, did you do a good job? You don't even have any questions.